Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning and happy Saturday to each and every one of you. It's good to see you. Oh, I cannot. Okay, can't minimize it. Okay, let's do this. Share the screen. There we go. Okay. So very interesting time going on right now. Very interesting times going. My computer is messing up. I don't know why it is, but it is messing up. Let me see if I can't do something here. Wow, it's been a very interesting last 48 hours. Tons and tons of information coming out on Twitter and YouTube in reference to what is going on with the SEC, the Ethereum free pass movement or exposure, I guess. I do like ETHgate. BK come up with that. I do like the SEC ETHgate. I think I actually tweeted out, excuse me, and retweeted that as well. So hashtag Gary Gensler is not your friend, and then hashtag SEC ETHgate. It's very interesting. Jeremy Hogan had an interesting tweet as well. Said he was going to do a video. I'll try to share that. But he said I'm going to do a video. But he was basically said I do not want to get on the bad side of anyone in the XRP army for sure, because any kind of indiscretion will be exposed. So it's pretty funny, guys. Listen, the market is doing what the market does, as we like to say, right? So we'll go over the numbers a little bit. I'm going to share a bunch of tweets today from Twitter. Shout out to John Deaton. Shout out to DAI. It has been shout out to Crypto Eddie. Shout out to Leonidas. For just taking your time, energy, and resources to share with the community and expose the madness that is going on at the SEC. We appreciate you guys very much. So guys, listen, this is your XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes. So DAI shared this timeline here. March of 2018, the Venture Capital Working Group led by Andreessen Horowitz, sends the token sale non-executive safe harbor to the SEC. So keep that in mind. Venture Capital Working Group led by Andreessen Horowitz sends the token sale non-executive safe harbor to the SEC. June of 2018, fireside chat. This is Chris Dixon, the general partner at Andreessen Horowitz. June 14th of 2018, Bill Hinman, Ethereum free pass. 6/24 of 21, Hinman becomes the advisory partner at Andreessen Horowitz. Okay, this is the thing that was sent to the SEC. If I can find it. Is this a tweet or the bookmark? This is just a bookmark. Let me go over here. And then I'm going to let you listen to the videos. Very interesting stuff here. Let me share if I can find it. Poor little laptop. My poor little laptop just cannot take it. So here it is here. John Deaton shared the tweet, and here's the information that was sent from the Venture Capital Working Group. And John Deaton responds, why fair notice wins in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. March 2018, market participants proposed a safe harbor because of the lack of clarity. March of 2018. April of 2018, Gary Gensler says Ripple needs clarity. June of 2010, Hinman gives a free speech describing a decentralization construct that fits the XRP ledger. So this is what was sent. Venture Capital Working Group, Andreessen Horowitz thing, right, with some other people. He said, we also believe we support the SEC's mission, March of 2018, of investor protection and full fair disclosure. We also support aggressively dealing with fraudulent actors. We also believe it is equally essential to provide clear guidance beyond enforcement actions. We also believe it is equally essential to provide clear guidance beyond enforcement actions to allow continued development and innovation around what many believe to be potentially transformational technology development. So-called utility tokens are intended to be used by users of a software network and do not present an equity interest or any other corporate obligation, but they do attract speculative resellers, which implicates the Howey test. The Howey case law is highly nuanced and therefore challenging to interpret, leading to uncertainty. There is much less clarity around investment contract type securities. Under the Howey test, token sale agreements could constitute investment contracts under some circumstances, but not others. All right. We believe the law and guidance around what constitutes an investment contract should be clarified. We believe the industry and the regulators' interests are aligned in establishing clear rules and appropriate investor protection so that capital formation and blockchain technology is not derailed and development can continue to flourish in the United States. Let's see. That's not, we don't need that. Here's some of the other parts. To remedy the uncertainty and confusion in this space, we are proposing a non-exclusive safe harbor to help provide guidance to the industry on what constitutes an investment contract and how the investment contract law guidance should apply to utility tokens. John Deaton also highlights the proposed safe harbor. We believe the proposed safe harbor outlined below will assist in relieving regulatory uncertainty around utility tokens. The goal of proposed safe harbor is to establish clarity for the industry, permits use of tokens for their intended use, i.e. on their software platform, establish appropriate investor protection for both primary sales and resales of tokens with emphasis on eliminating trading manipulation. Now, remember, this is coming from the venture capital, right? And Andreessen Horowitz and the group. The industry needs for clarity is obvious. The SEC would also benefit from this clarity. The proposed safe harbor has been vetted by and has the support of many of key players in the industry. We believe the proposed safe harbor works well from the perspective of both industry and the SEC by balancing investor protections and capital formations, right? And so another thing that I want to point out here, I think is hugely important, is the timelines and when these people met. The timelines is hugely important. So let me go back after I read this here. Remember, it came from venture capital, quote unquote, working group. So let's listen to this video if we can.
Very important that there be sensible regulation that stops.
Again, this is the this is Chris Dixon, general partner at Andreessen Horowitz.
Those scams, but allows for innovation. So I think that's a key thing. Needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of regulation?
Forgive my internet issues here.
New York had the beat license thing, which all the Kraken guys and many others hated. Meanwhile, I guess Wyoming is trying to go rogue and create their own legislation.
Yeah.
Is that...
It's very complicated. There are many regulatory bodies who have, who intersect with this. So, FinCEN, IRS, SEC, CFTC, and it's going to take a while to kind of figure out. But, I guess I'm optimistic about it.
Any preference if you could influence the regulators, as I'm sure you can. Any preference about where that should go, or is that stuff?
Yeah.
You know,
well, I think the key concepts, as I understand them, you know, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to get too into the details there, but I think the key concept is you have enough room for entrepreneurs to build, you know, like these digital services done in the proper way, but also, you know, protections to make sure that information is symmetric, that someone who's not in Silicon Valley can make an informed, if they decide to buy something for investment purposes, can make you know, an informed decision. So that's where a lot of the regulatory framework. So, for example, there's an important distinction between securities and commodities. You know, regulators have said that Bitcoin is a commodity, which essentially the idea there is there's no information that like I have about Bitcoin that would give me some advantage in buying Bitcoin over anyone else. Anything I know is from the internet. It's a fully decentralized protocol. Everything's open. And so I think that's some framework where we sort of understand kind of balance, you know, the protections for kind of Main Street investors with enough room for people to innovate.
So, and it's a fully open protocol, right? And so the biggest thing that we are trying to bring to light and make sure that it's brought to light is, why did you give Ethereum a free pass? Why were they given the free pass? And it's becoming more and more obvious that this was done in a backhanded, inside trader way, if you will. It's becoming more and more obvious, and it's becoming more and more exposed, right, by the likes of John Deaton. DAI has been doing an excellent job of bringing all this to light. And so the safe harbor idea is awesome, but why did it only apply to Bitcoin and Ethereum when the XRP ledger looks just very much like any other open source technology, right? And how can you continue to go on with not acknowledging that Ethereum did have an ICO? So which one is it? Why were they able to do the ICO without having any sort of regulatory scrutiny on the fact that they had the ICO? That's the kind of the stink of all of this, is why did that happen? Why did that happen? And I think it's so blatant and in your face. The Henman free speech. And remember the time.
Very important that there be sensible regulation.
Is very, very important. March of 18, this working group led by Andreessen Horowitz sent this non-exclusive safe harbor. And then a couple of months later, the chat with this guy here below, and then the Bill Hinman speech 6 days later, right? Well, and again, I'm going to show you some of the timelines of Clayton meeting with people, okay, from Andreessen Horowitz as well. And it doesn't look good at all, right? And so, and it's being pointed out here as well. This is, again, another timeline, Jay Clayton's calendar, right? He's meeting with the people from venture cap, people who led the venture capital working group by Andreessen Horowitz, January of 2018, January, 2 months prior, right? Meeting with Andreessen Horowitz, right? By Clayton. It's hugely important, right? So who was there? Jorge Conde, general partner, Alex Rampo, general partner, Chris Dixon, the guy who I just showed the speech to, just showed who was talking with the guy there, right? Chris Dixon, the general partner, Ryan Ward, general counsel, Andreessen Horowitz, the people who led that working group, the venture capital, if you will, working group. And now Bill Hinman is there. Venture capital working group seeks select cryptocurrency safe harbor, right? The timelines, the meetings, the speech, like it's undeniable. And as DAI pointed out here, Venture Capital Working Group members and law firm Andreessen Horowitz and Union Square Ventures, Cooley LLP, McDermott, Will and Emery, Perkins Coat. That was the working group. Token sale submitted to Bill Henman at the SEC on March 26. Ethereum is the only digital asset mentioned. For clarity, ETH is proposed token for the Ethereum network, so the safe harbor provision would apply to Ethereum, but not necessarily to all the other ERC20s on Ethereum. Right? It is very, very, very obvious that something shady was going down. Again, this is not the level playing field, right? Why the pass? Why the Ethereum free pass? And then why take enforcement action against Ripple? Why not bring any type of legal issue at all or battle to the fact that Ethereum held an ICO? Is it because maybe it looks like it was a securities offering or investment contract? Why not do it? And then turn around and give them this free pass. Ultimately, it's about, it feels as though the SEC went into the business of picking winners and losers, right? Not investor protection, picking winners and losers. Crypto Eddie pointed out here in a tweet, experts predict Ripple will win the SEC case, will win the case. Gary Gensler here, Leonidas shares something that I think is huge. Gary Gensler at the MIT on April 23rd of 2018, compliance changed their behavior without enforcement. Without enforcement, there needs to be clarity in the market. And remember, Clayton and Gensler met, right? Met prior to Gensler even getting the nod, met. And there's an interesting tweet that I think I saved. Let me see if I have it. Let's go here. Someone pointed out that I thought was just great. Joseph Lumen. And it shows here the calendar at what the SEC, right? Very, very, very interesting. December 2018, Joseph Lumen, March of 2017. So December 2017, December 13th, met with consensus. March, met with consensus, right? This has been, they've known about the plan, if you will, from the very beginning. If someone pointed out something in one of these tweets, and I have to find it, because I thought it was absolutely genius. Talked about that this was actually Gary Gensler's. It was actually Gary Gensler's lawsuit. The Gensler and Clayton met, and because apparently negotiations broke down. It was Ryan Selkes who started the tweet. Let me see if I can find Ryan's. It was from December of 2020, so I don't know. Ryan tweeted out, and someone responded to that tweet in December 2020 about him. Ryan was saying that he had dinner with Gensler, so he wasn't surprised by the whole XRP comment. It might be in my first one. I think it is here. This is a good one. I have to follow. I have to find it, but I thought I had it lined up here, and it's not here. I'll have to share it next video. I can't find it now. Let's take a listen to the video with Ryan Sigone on the stage. This is really, really important. This is the guy from the IMF.
Ryan, go ahead.
Proof of work doesn't work. Proof of work doesn't work. It's been widely.
Ryan, proof of work's been working.
Let me finish. Proof of work doesn't work.
Let him finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them, that doesn't use mining, that's cheaper from an energy perspective than Visa, and already scales to 1,500 transactions a second. A lot of these problems have already been solved. The challenge for adoption comes back to policy. The policy uncertainty around some of the assets has limited adoption, particularly here in the US. And I'm speaking from Ripple and XRP because we use that asset because it's a half a cent per payment. It's basically free. It scales and it's efficient. It's 1,500 transactions a second at nearly no energy burn. So we're at a point today where there are real solutions to all of these challenges that already exist. Policy has become the challenge. And we heard on the first panel that around centralization on China, and this is going to be a hard pill for Peter to swallow. But 80% of the mining power for Bitcoin is controlled by 6 mining pools, 5 of which are in China. Today, the policy certainty in the US exists for Bitcoin and Ethereum, despite the fact those are China-controlled platforms. So
the point he was making back there and the argument, right? Making the argument back then was because of what was the case with Bitcoin and Ethereum mining in China, right? That's since changed, but he was pointing out that the policy, why was there clarity for Bitcoin and Ethereum and not for XRP, considering these issues, the mining issue, the environmental issues, right? With Bitcoin mining, why would Bitcoin and Ethereum get this free pass from regulators and not given, why would XRP not be given that same clarity? And he was addressing those issues then, right? It again, pointing out, it doesn't make sense. You say all these issues with the mining and the environmental issues and electricity and blah, 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 yet you give Bitcoin and Ethereum clarity and not XRP, who doesn't have all those issues and provides all these added benefits. Why give it the clarity to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and not XRP? It never made sense. It never made sense. And now we're discovering why the clarity was given. Right? Now we understand. Because a VC group came into the SEC, had these discussions. And it's very, very obvious that deals were made, blessings were given. This is what we're going to do. And in return, this is what can happen. You know, the whole theater and real life deal, right? It's very, very obvious. You know, Clayton ends up at, I forget where Clayton is, right? Hinman ends up at Andreessen Horowitz, right? Hinman being paid by people from the Enterprise Alliance, the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. You see what I'm saying? It's been very, very obvious. And now we got the likes of Charlie Gasparino, Rosalind Layton at Forbes, Charles Gasparino's at Fox Business, right? The beginning to shed light on this. And by the way, Charles Gasparino mentioned that lawmakers were now asking the SEC to bring some clarity as to why the difference between Ethereum getting this thing and XRP not, according to Charles Gasparino. And you know that I said this time and time again on this channel, when it becomes a clear slam dunk of the wrongdoings, of the inside, of the shady, when it becomes very clear, slam dunk, right? When that kind of exposure and or a congressperson can pick it up because it looks great to his or her constituents, when that becomes obvious, that then this particular congressperson can look good because they're helping to expose something shady that took place in the SEC, that's when they'll pick it up. And it's getting very, very close. Charles Gasparino already mentioned that Congress lawmakers were looking into this, wanting to know from the SEC, why did Ethereum get to pass and XRP and Ripple didn't? And it's beginning to get exposure, and it's hugely important. And just like that article that came out months ago, maybe a month ago, I think Rosin Layton might have said it, the SEC did not see the XRP army coming. They did not see the XRP army coming. Oh, man. And what is his name? Jeremy Hogan said this too. I think this is so true. Just researched and outlined a video for tomorrow. And holy handbags, Batman. Holy handbags, Batman. The XRP Twitter / YouTube community is amazing. He says, remind me not to piss them off. The dirt will be found. The dirt will be found. And again, it is without question, we have some of the greatest researchers in the entire digital asset space. That is without question, it's a collective effort. It's a collective effort, right? A lot of people in the community send stuff to content creators, right? So it's a collective effort. Don't get it twisted. It's not just the person who opens up the laptop and turns on the camera and flips on the microphone. No. It's a community, right? Because each of us need all of us. Each of us need all of us, and all of us need each of us. So shout out to the Army for continuing to put in the work to expose. I like hashtag SEC to continue to expose the madness is so important. Very, very hugely important. And on a side note, I know some Solomon and some other people, I think XRP Magnificent wanted to point this out. So I wanted to share this tweet from Alex Mashinsky in reference to regulators in Texas and Jersey. It's always Texas and New Jersey. Wanting some answers, right? To all the Celsius Network clients, partners, and ambassadors, with regard to recent actions by the state of Texas, New Jersey, and Alabama, we are disappointed these actions have been filed and wholeheartedly disagree with the allegations being made that Celsius has not complied with the law. Okay, let me show the rest of this thread. We always have and will continue to work with regulators in the US and globally to operate in full compliance with the law. Given our commitment to regulatory adherence, we look forward to addressing this matter quickly. As of now, no changes in our services to any of our clients. We will keep our community updated with the development. I said this months ago. When the Ripple SEC lawsuit came about, I said that every single community, every single community should come to the support of Ripple in this lawsuit, because it wasn't just about Ripple and the XRP. It was about the entire digital asset space. Now we got the regulators in these 3 states coming after Celsius. We just heard about Coinbase and what they're doing to Coinbase. What they're looking to do with Coinbase, a regulator who in large part had something to do with Coinbase being able to IPO, is now saying, if you come out with this particular product, we're going to sue. This product that, by the way, that threatens to grab market share from the banking cartel with this product called Lend. Do you see what's going on? Gary Gensler is not your friend. And I'll say it again. And if I said this once, I'll say it 1,000 times. They put him where they need him. That's exactly what they have done. Exactly. And I wish that I could find that freaking tweet. Someone who pointed this out, and I thought it was a genius tweet. I can't find it. I hope I'll find it. But it essentially said, don't forget that Hinman Don't forget that Clayton met with Gensler. This is before even Gensler, I think it was before Gensler even got the confirmation that he was going to be, right? So Biden picked Gensler. What do you think Biden is about? Do you think Biden is about you and me in this new asset class? Or do you think it's about his old pals? Right? And he said that Biden, remember Biden and Gensler, Biden chose Gensler. Gensler met with Clayton, right? What is it? Not negotiations, but the talks between the SEC when what's his name? When Ben Lawsky was there, formerly of the NYDIG, when he was on the board at Ripple, right? On the board at Ripple, for some reason, why did the talks break down? Why did the talks break down there? And Lawsky left, right? Then they usher in Gensler, right? From Biden. Biden brings him in. And this dude in his tweet, dude or girl in his tweet said that it was really Gary's lawsuit. Gary's lawsuit. This is his way in to take care of his pals. This was his way to do it, to take care of his pals. And it's becoming very, very, very obvious. Very, very obvious. And again, I'll say this again. When is the digital asset space as a whole going to come to the support of Ripple? Alex Mashinsky is now seeing that it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. He has been always nowhere near crossing the line, coming close to the line of not being compliant. Never has not. I mean, this dude is uber cautious. And yet, and still, so when I say about uber cautious, filing the appropriate paperwork, reaching out to the regulators each day, what do you need us to do? But done all of it. And here they still come. Why? Think about the service that Celsius offers to you and I, 8, sometimes as high as 12% on our stable coin money. Think about that. Where are you getting that? In the banking cartel and their traditional financial instruments. Where are you getting that? He constantly speaks to how the banks are ripping you and I off. He constantly speaks to that. We have to wake up to the real fight. It's not about Bitcoin, proof of work, and XRP. The real fight is about this new asset class being our thing. Like Alex says all the time, never in the history of finance has the average Joe and Jane been able to get to the new thing first. To the new thing first. It's generally the other way around. The banking cartel and Wall Street gets to it first. They make all that money and then they dish it off to us. Never in history of finance have we been able to get to it first, and they don't like it. That is ultimately the fight, guys. I just want you to understand that. That's ultimately the fight. So, I encourage you to save your energy on warring with others in the community, in different communities. Save your energy and take the fight. Take up the fight with Ripple to the SEC and against the SEC. That's the fight. Because if we don't put them in their place, if we don't flex our muscle, if we will, they'll continue to want to, just pillage through each community. Now Celsius, it's Coinbase now. What other digital asset? What's the next digital asset? What's the next exchange, if you will? Do you see what I'm saying? This is the play. This is 100% the play. And Gary Gensler, again, is not your friend. They made a decision that they were going to take care of their boys. It's very, very obvious. They put him where they need him. Hashtag Gary Gensler is not your friend. Just wanted to point that out to you guys. Don't think that your thing because of technology, or your thing because of more decentralized than some other thing is going to give you the thing, unless you're participating in the shady stuff that's going on, like Hinman, like Hinman in this Ethereum free pass thing. Yeah, right. And so ultimately, that free pass thing takes place. It happens because of not Ethereum. It happens because of the SEC. That's the shady. That is the shady. Gotta get that. And it's obvious it was because of the VCs somewhere out there who had a vested interest in seeing Ethereum win, and the regulators got in bed with that group. That's the bottom line. Not in fair play, not in not picking winners and losers. They did the opposite. Right? And we all know that it's not all the regulators at the SEC, but there were some, like Clayton, like Hinman. And now we got someone in here doing another thing in Gary Gensler, which is doing the bidding for the banking cartel. And you just we have to expose it. So don't, again, why spend your energy and your time and your resources warring with one another when we can come together and take the fight to this nastiness that's going on with regulators? Hugely important. All right, guys, so listen, I'm going to end this video like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sideline? Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.